The hangar smelled like coolant, steel, and leftover plasma residue. A faint buzz of warning sirens echoed across the upper rafters of the orbital station. Sergeant Cole Marlowe wiped the sweat off his brow as he unlatched the cargo crate, squinting against the glare of the overhead strip lights. The last thing he expected today was a detainment order. And definitely not from the diplomatic wing. She requested you personally, the officer had said. Didn't say why. Just that it had to be you. Cole didn't like enigmas. But orders were orders. He approached the holding bay. Through the reinforced glass stood a woman, or what looked like one. Orange skin, speckled like a nebula, shimmered under the cell's dull lights. She leaned against the wall with a posture that was both confident and curious. Her silver-white hair fell over her shoulder, framing sharp, angular features. And her gaze. It was locked right onto him before he even stepped in. The cell door whooshed open. Sergeant Cole Marlowe, he introduced with measured caution. Earth Coalition forces. You're requesting asylum? She didn't respond right away. Instead, she pushed off the wall and walked toward him. Graceful. Silent. Like gravity didn't bind her the same way it did him. Her leather outfit clung to her curves, practical in cut, but oddly ornamental around the hips. A bulge, unfamiliar and prominent, rested just above her inner thigh. Cole tried not to glance, but it was hard not to notice. Her anatomy wasn't human. Clearly. You're staring, she said finally. Her voice had a textured, almost musical quality. Cole cleared his throat. Just assessing threat level. She smiled. Is the bulge between my legs what intrigues you, human? Is that why you're acting so tense? Cole felt the heat climb to his cheeks, but his voice stayed even. What species are you? Half Valkyrie. Half Telleri. My name is HFY. I didn't come here to fight. I came here because someone wants me dead. And why me? HFY tilted her head. Because your file says you never lie. And I need someone who won't betray me, even if I make things uncomfortable. Cole didn't know what part of that statement unsettled him more, the way she said it, or the fact that he couldn't argue. Her presence was unsettling in the most visceral way. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. I carry something in my body, an archive, millions of years of knowledge encoded biologically. The bulge you noticed. It's the seal. It keeps that data hidden. Cole blinked. You're saying your reproductive system is a vault? Crude, but yes. And someone powerful found out. They want it. And they'll kill to extract it. Before he could respond, a tremor rocked the station. Red lights flared across the walls. Dock breach in progress, a robotic voice called out. Unauthorized access detected. Cole grabbed his sidearm, eyes flicking to HFY. She hadn't moved. Her expression remained calm, but her pupils dilated, becoming slits. They're here, she whispered. They found me. You need to come with me, Cole said, grabbing her arm. Now. She didn't resist. In fact, she was faster than him, already sprinting down the corridor, her lithe form darting ahead. Cole kept pace, heart pounding. Whoever wanted her dead didn't care about collateral damage. That much was clear. As they ducked into a maintenance shaft, Cole tried to steady his breathing. He looked at her. What kind of enemy are we dealing with? HFY didn't hesitate. They call themselves the Syndicate of Voiceless Stars. They silence any world that defies their secrecy laws. And you defied them by carrying this data. I was born with it. My mother died protecting it. Now it's my turn. Cole checked his communicator. No signal. They emerged into a dim-lit storage bay. Old hoverbikes lined the wall. You can ride one of these, he asked. I built one once, she said. When I was 12. Cole grunted. Guess we'll find out if you're bragging. As they mounted the bikes, the door to the storage bay blew open. Armored figures in matte black exosuits poured in, weapons drawn. No insignia. No words. Cole fired first. A blue spark lit the air as one assailant dropped. HFY moved like lightning, leaping off her bike and sliding under a crate. A flick of her wrist, and a burst of ultraviolet light erupted, blinding their attackers. "Go!" she shouted. Cole revved his engine and shot forward, Nykari mounting behind him with fluid ease. They zipped through narrow corridors, ducking fire and weaving past falling debris. "The escape pods," Cole shouted. "We'll launch toward the mining belt. They won't follow through that radiation field. You'll lose clearance. You'll be marked as rogue. You're not the only one who's tired of orders." They made it to the launch deck. Nykari used her handprint to override the security panel. A hidden protocol. She wasn't just a fugitive, she was someone who once had clearance. "You were military," Cole said as they entered the pod. "Classified," she answered with a smirk. As the pod launched, Cole felt the station vanish behind them in a blur of fire and sparks. "Where are we going?" she asked. Cole looked at her. "Somewhere they won't find you." She looked out the window. "You sure about that, human? You don't even know what you've signed up for." Cole didn't flinch. "I'll figure it out. One lie at a time." Outside, the stars stretched like ribbons. Inside, secrets stirred between them. The escape pod rattled violently as it pierced the radiation belt surrounding the asteroid cluster. Inside, the lights flickered, and warning tones chirped like anxious birds. "Shields holding at 45%, Nykari murmured, fingers dancing across the console like she'd done it 1,000 times. Cole strapped in tighter, glancing at her hands. "You're more than ex-military. That override back there, that wasn't civilian tech." She didn't answer, just stared out the viewport as they coasted into the magnetic dead zone. A field so chaotic it scrambled sensors, wiped signatures, and fried basic tracking systems. To anyone watching, they'd just disappeared. "You ever gonna tell me what's really inside you?" Cole asked. "What's in that archive?" Nykari turned, her face serious now. "It's not a what. It's a who. Come again." "The archive isn't just data, it's consciousness. Personalities, decisions, ethics, every leader my people ever had, stored genetically, encoded into me. I don't just carry knowledge. I carry judgment. And the last ruling council was erased when the syndicate came." Cole leaned back slowly. "So you're not a fugitive. You're royalty." She sighed. "That word doesn't mean much anymore. But yes. If I activate the full archive, I become the final voice of the Valksar artillery. And they'd kill you before you speak. They already killed everyone else." The pod shuddered again, a proximity warning lighting up. Cole leaned forward. "We've got a tail." Something slipped through the field. "Impossible," Nykari muttered. "Unless." A shadow streaked past the window. A drone. Stealth class. Anti-organic payloads. Cole swore. "Strap in. Manual evasive now." He wrestled the controls, sending the pod into a hard bank. Outside, the drone mirrored the move with eerie precision. A second flash passed, a missile launch. Nykari didn't scream. She reached back and pulled open the maintenance hatch behind the pilot seat. "There's a manual flare system here. Retrofitted," she said. "Why would a diplomatic pod have that?" "Because it was never built for diplomacy." She twisted the valve, and a tube hissed. The drone's targeting system blinked off course, confused by the decoy. Cole used the window to slingshot the pod around a spinning asteroid, cutting the engine at just the right moment. They drifted in darkness. The drone overshot and exploded against a ridge. "We have 20 minutes before their next sweep," she said calmly. "We can hide in the belt. There's a mining outpost nearby." "You know all this by memory?" "No," she said. "From the last ruler. He lived here before the purge. I have his maps. His escape routes. His fears." Cole couldn't take his eyes off her. Not just because of how she looked, but because of what she held inside. Centuries of lives. And all of it resting beneath that oddly shaped bulge that had once thrown him off guard. They landed silently inside a carved-out tunnel near a collapsed refinery. Cole stepped out, sidearm raised. "Clear," he called back. Nykari followed, pulling her dark jacket tighter around her shoulders. The atmosphere was breathable, but the silence was heavier than gravity. Inside the station, Broken machinery lay like bones. Lights flickered overhead. Ghosts of industry passed. "We're not alone," she said softly. "What kind of not alone?" A metal clink echoed down a hallway. Cole raised his weapon, approaching cautiously. From the shadows, a figure emerged, gaunt, covered in dust, dressed in what looked like hybrid scavenger armor. "You smell like old fire," the stranger rasped. "And death." "We're not here to scavenge," Cole said. "No one comes here unless they're hiding, or hunting." Nwikari stepped forward. "My name is Nwikari. I need sanctuary." The man froze. His eyes locked on her. Then slowly, he dropped to one knee. "You bear the mark. The song still sings in you." Cole blinked. "Okay, what now?" The man looked up. "I was the last custodian of the council's light. When they fell, I buried the beacon. But I always knew one would come back. The chosen vessel." Nwikari's face tightened. "I'm not a messiah. Doesn't matter what you are. You carry the memory. That makes you fire. And fire spreads." Cole pulled him aside as Nwikari explored the chamber. "Can we trust him?" "You can't trust anyone in the outer rings," the custodian said. "But you can choose who you burn with." They used the old mine to access deeper catacombs. There, under a shattered throne made of obsidian and wire, was a chamber with a crystalline interface. "This is the beacon," the custodian said. "It'll unlock the rest of the archive. But once you do, you can't turn back. You'll be hunted not just for what you know, but for what you might say." Nwikari hesitated. "Once I connect, I'll have every thought they ever recorded. I won't just be me anymore." Cole stepped closer. "Then don't do it alone." "I'll stay." She turned to him, eyes suddenly vulnerable. "You don't understand what that means. If I open it, I'll remember every execution, every betrayal. Even what my own mother did to keep me safe. Then you'll remember why you're still here." Nwikari knelt before the beacon. She pressed her palm against the surface. A pulse of light erupted, filling the room. Her body arched, and she gasped, not in pain, but in release. Her skin shimmered. The bulge at her waist glowed faintly, its seal opening like petals. Images burst through her mind, cities in flame, treaties broken, faces she didn't recognize but felt as if she had loved them all. Cole grabbed her shoulder, anchoring her. Then the chamber fell silent. Nwikari opened her eyes. "And they weren't just hers anymore. They're coming again," she whispered. "But this time, we won't run." The custodian nodded. "Then let the stars witness the return of judgment." Cole drew his weapon, checking its charge. "What do you need me to do?" She looked at him not as an alien, not as a human, but as a soldier beside her in a fire that was only just beginning to spread. "I need you to teach me how to fight. Like a human." The stars outside trembled, as if hearing the echo of something ancient, waking up again. The training chamber deep beneath the mining outpost hadn't seen use in decades. Dust hung in the air like ghosts, and the walls bore ancient claw marks from drills or something far less mechanical. Nwikari stood in the center, bare feet planted, face calm but eyes full of storm. Cole tossed her a weighted baton. "Rule 1, don't hesitate. If they're close enough to touch you, they're close enough to kill you." She caught the baton without breaking eye contact. "And what's rule 2? Don't die." She lunged. Fast. Faster than he expected. Her strike was graceful but lacked weight. He parried easily, stepping inside her reach. "You're too careful," he said. "Too graceful. This isn't a dance. It's a brawl." Nwikari frowned. "Where I come from, elegance is power. Here, power is ugly. Bloody. Loud." Again, she came at him, this time with a spin. "Better." He blocked, twisted her wrist, and flipped her to the ground. She hit with a gasp, more surprised than hurt. Cole offered a hand. "Try again." She took it. And didn't let go. "You're not like the others," she said, softly. "You don't look at me like I'm strange." "I did," Cole admitted. "But then I realized, we're all strange, in the end. Just a matter of context." They trained for hours. Between sessions, Kari absorbed tactical data from the beacon. Her movements became sharper, her instincts faster. Cole watched the transformation with a mix of awe and unease. She wasn't just learning. She was evolving. The custodian approached them during a break. Scouts on the ridge. Syndicate. 3 clicks east. Light cloaks. How long do we have? Cole asked. Less than an hour. Kari didn't flinch. Let them come. I'm ready. Cole turned to her. You sure? This isn't a sparring match. She met his gaze. I've seen the fall of worlds in my mind. I've heard the screams of the innocent burned from memory. I won't run again. They fortified the tunnels. Laid traps. Synchronized weapons. Cole's military instincts kicked in like second nature, and Kari followed without hesitation. She was no longer a princess or a relic. She was a blade. When the syndicate came, they came in silence. Cloaked. Coordinated. Efficient. But they weren't prepared for resistance. The first squad tripped a plasma mine. 2 gone in a flash. The rest scattered, thinking they had surprise. They didn't. Cole dropped into cover, taking out one with a clean shot to the neck. Kari moved beside him like shadow, silent, surgical, lethal. She didn't hesitate this time. One of the syndicate soldiers lunged for her. She pivoted, disarmed him mid-charge, and stabbed upward into his visor with her baton. The scream that followed wasn't human. They're not all people, she hissed. Some are constructs. Controlled remotely. Then we shut down the controller. The custodian opened a hidden access panel, an old power line leading deep into the belly of the asteroid, where a relay beacon pulsed. This is how they're tracing us, he said. A spine hidden in the rock. They feed signals through it. Blow it, Cole said. Can't, the custodian replied. Not without collapsing the outpost. Kari stepped forward. Then I'll sever it manually. You'll be exposed. So what? I'm tired of hiding. They made their way through the spine, a tunnel lit by pulsing alien tech. Symbols glowed on the walls, Telari, Valksari, and something else, darker. Kari stopped. These markings, she said. They're syndicate origin. But ancient. This was theirs before it was ours. That's how they knew where to look, Cole muttered. They built the map. We just inherited it. At the core, a pulsating orb hovered midair wrapped in tendrils of light and bone. That's the relay, Kari whispered. It's not just tech. It's alive. What do you mean alive? She pointed. Inside the orb, faint human-like shapes moved, faces screaming silently. They use memory, she said slowly. Trapped minds. Their intelligence isn't artificial. It's stolen. Cole felt sick. And if we destroy it, they'll lose their eyes. Their ears. Their ghosts. She stepped forward. The orb reacted, glowing brighter. You're connected to it, Cole said. Because I'm part of what they lost. The Telari. They used our ancestors. And now they want me because I'm the last real piece. Cole drew his weapon. Then we end it. Together. Kari touched the orb. It pulsed. She screamed, but didn't let go. Energy surged through her. Her bulge glowed again, brighter than before. Then it opened. From within, a small, seed-like device floated up. Cole watched in awe. What is that? The seed of reformatting, she gasped. A failsafe. A way to overwrite corrupted minds. But only if joined with the original signal. She pressed the seed into the orb. It sank in. The tunnel shook. Cracks spread. Screams from inside the orb turned to wails, then whispers, then silence. The lights died. The pulse stopped. Above, the syndicate troops froze. Lost. Confused. Cole didn't wait. He took them out methodically, clean, quick, silent. When it was over, Kari collapsed into his arms. Her skin was slick with sweat. Her eyes glazed. You did it, he whispered. Not yet, she murmured. They'll send more. Stronger. And now they know what I can do. Then we hit first, he said. You and me. She smiled weakly. You always say things like you believe them. That's because I do. And somewhere far away, in a syndicate war room hollowed into a moon, a red light blinked off for the first time in a century. Silence settled in its place. The kind of silence that meant something was about to break. The syndicate's grip across the outer sectors weakened faster than expected. Without their relay hive, they couldn't coordinate. Worlds once afraid to whisper rebellion were now roaring it. Pirate fleets aligned with old alliances. Smugglers ran weapons, not contraband. And on a barren moon lit by a flickering red dwarf, two fugitives became the center of a rising storm. HFY stood atop a plateau of jagged obsidian, overlooking the refugee camp below. Tents, generators, repurposed mining units, it wasn't much, but it was something. A start. Behind her, the new archive server hummed, secured deep within the rock. Not encoded in her body anymore, but safely distributed in a quantum weave accessible, but no longer a target on her flesh. Cole walked up the slope behind her, carrying 2 canisters of nutrient brew. It's official. 7 systems pledged allegiance to the Restoration Accord. Even that crusty general from Mornia 9. Did he spit when he signed it? Twice. She smiled faintly. Progress. Cole handed her a canister. You okay? You've been quiet. HFY looked down at her hands. It's strange. For so long, I was a vault. A carrier. I felt like a thing, not a person. Now that it's out of me, I don't know what I am. You're you, Cole said simply. You were never the archive. That was just a piece of the puzzle. She turned to face him. And you? What are you now? You broke protocol, stole a pod, killed syndicate agents. Earth commands probably branded you a deserter. He shrugged. I'm a man who followed the truth instead of the handbook. Doesn't mean I'm lost. HFY stepped closer. Do you regret it? Any of it? Not for a second. They stood in silence for a moment, the cold wind tugging at their jackets. Then came the whine of an inbound ship. Cole tensed. HFY reached for her sidearm instinctively, but relaxed when the transponder pinged friendly. The old custodian had returned. He stepped out of the small transport, a grin on his weathered face. I've got something you'll want to see. Inside the cargo hold were dozens of children. Telari. Valksari. Even a few half-human hybrids. Orphans. Hidden survivors. The syndicate had taken their parents, but not their will. They escaped a transport bound for the memory harvest fields, the custodian said. Now they're ours to protect. HFY knelt before them. They looked at her with wide, unblinking eyes. Not afraid. Not anymore. Do they know who I am? They don't need to, the custodian said. They'll remember how you made them feel. Safe. One small girl approached. Orange-skinned, like HFY, with luminous freckles. Is it true, the girl whispered, that you made the ghosts stop screaming? HFY reached out and brushed a strand of hair behind the child's ear. Yes. And now you'll never have to hear them again. The girl nodded solemnly, then took her hand. That night, a fire burned in the center of the camp. Not for warmth. For memory. The names of the fallen were spoken aloud, those who lived inside HFY once, and now lived only in light. Cole sat beside her, his hand resting lightly on hers. He didn't need to speak. He just stayed. As stars wheeled above them, she spoke softly. They'll come again. The syndicate. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not for years. But they will. Then we'll be ready, Cole said. Next time, they'll face more than 2 fugitives. They'll face a people who remember. And when morning came, HFY did something she hadn't done in cycles. She slept. Not with one eye open. Not with her hand on a weapon. She slept like someone who had finally come home. The universe hadn't changed overnight. There were still threats. Still injustices. Still long roads ahead. But something had shifted. HFY was no longer a vessel. She was a voice. A choice. A future. Moral sometimes, the most dangerous weapon isn't a gun or a fleet. It's memory. Truth. A voice that refuses to be silenced. And when someone finally listens, not to command, but to conscience, change begins. Not in the halls of power, but in the hearts of the forgotten.